What is blockchain technology? Brought to you by Collective Shift. You've probably heard of the word blockchain, either through passing, word of mouth, or perhaps even through your adventures in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space. To put it simply, a blockchain is a form of distributed ledger technology. Well now, what's a distributed ledger? Distributed ledgers are databases that are maintained by multiple parties rather than one. Think of an Excel spreadsheet that lives on thousands of different computers at the same time, all updated at exactly the same moment. This has both advantages and disadvantages, and not all databases need to be on distributed ledgers. One advantage is that it is totally open for everyone to view. The disadvantage? It's totally open for everyone to view. It's like a tool, completely neutral. It really depends on who wields that tool. The data that blockchains store are organized into blocks, hence the terminology, blockchains. Blocks are linked together using cryptographic hashes, a sophisticated form of encryption. This creates a chain of blocks. Because blocks are ordered in a specific way, the data stored in them is immutable. If something is immutable, it means it cannot be changed. Imagine a long metal chain. The further back on the chain you go, the harder it will be to change anything in that chain. Changing the chain isn't impossible, though it almost always is a net loss, as in you'll spend more resources to change it than the resources you will gain by changing it. So you really are disincentivized to do so. It is worth pointing out that blockchain technology isn't the same thing as cryptocurrencies. A cryptocurrency is a digital asset or digital form of money. Cryptocurrencies run on blockchains and other forms of distributed ledger technologies. The blockchain is the underlying foundational technology that allows most cryptocurrencies to exist today. For example, the Bitcoin BTC cryptocurrency runs on the Bitcoin blockchain network. So really, there are two names to know: Bitcoin with a capital B, which is the blockchain, and Bitcoin with a small b for the coin that runs and lives on the blockchain, which also happens to be called Bitcoin. Are you confused yet? Another well-known blockchain is Ethereum. It has a native cryptocurrency called Ether or ETH. Come on over to the Collective Shift platform to learn more about blockchains, cryptocurrencies, and the innovations they both provide. What's the big deal with blockchains? Blockchains are decentralized in nature, usually, meaning no single actor controls the network. The largest example of this is Bitcoin, followed by Ethereum. It's a fair statement to say the lower down you go in the cryptocurrency industry by market cap, the lower the decentralization factor. It's a spectrum. This is totally different from the centralized databases we see used today by banks and social media platforms. They have a specific company who custodies, edits, and retains domain over their database. Operating on a centralized system is problematic for many reasons. One big reason is security. The question is, what happens when the company doesn't have good practices in their security? If a central database gets hacked, everything stored on it becomes vulnerable. Ever heard of headlines before of companies being hacked and user information leaked? We sure have. Another reason is data ownership. In today's world, you rarely own your data. Worse still, your data is often monetized by the very networks you trust it with. Remember, if a service or a product is free, you are the product. Millions and billions of people never pay to use Facebook. So how does Facebook make money? How has it survived for this long? This brings us to another major issue with centralized databases: transparency. It's virtually almost impossible to verify how centralized network operators use your data. It's a dark hole. You can try and look in, but you won't see anything. And right at the bottom is the centralized company working its magic. You'll never know. Well, at least until the centralized system is hacked and we discover what they've been doing. Blockchains and consensus. Each node participating in a blockchain network has its own version of the truth. A node is simply a participant in the blockchain network. Nodes communicate with other nodes to ensure the blockchain's security and integrity. Remember, blockchains are decentralized, usually. And so, you may be wondering, how on earth do all the nodes agree on a unified transaction ledger without the help of a central authority? This all has to do with what we call blockchain consensus protocols. Think of these as a set of rules that define how nodes achieve consensus on a single state of the blockchain ledger. Achieving consensus is just another way of saying reaching an agreement. There are numerous consensus methods or mechanisms that different cryptocurrencies utilize. Bitcoin uses the proof of work consensus mechanism, which simplified turns your electricity into hashing power, solving complex equations to secure the network. The Ethereum blockchain used to be proof of work, but since transitioned to proof of stake in a recent protocol update called the merge. These are the two most common consensus models: proof of work, proof of stake. So, we've briefly touched on what blockchain technology is, what's the deal with it, and a little on blockchains and their consensus. That brings us to the end of this video. We hope you found it informative. Over at Collective Shift, we focus on cryptocurrency education. If you want more educational videos like these, please consider liking and subscribing. You can visit the Collective Shift platform by checking out the links in the description for a Collective Shift platform discount code. We will see you there.